Welcome, everyone, to the A to G podcast. I'm Darren.
And I'm Jacob.
And we have a great show for you today. Episode number 19. Jake, 19.
The preseason finale. Next week's the season finale.
Yes, this is the lead up to... I guess this is the prequel to the finale, I guess.
Oh, man.
As we would like to say. So, yeah, we have a great show. Jake's got a brand new Garbage Person of the Week. Jake also has a brand new top 5 for you guys this week.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
And that will be interesting as he's currently looking it up right now.
Yep. What do you mean?
What do you mean? What? I got to do what?
Sorry, busy scrolling.
We'll have sports, a lot of good sports going on. Talk about some movies going on. And then we'll talk about headlines and what's going on in the news there, Jake.
Yes, we will. Eventually. All right, so let's get into sports because it's been a busy day or two in the sports.
Exactly. Everything's pretty much winding down now. Two of the major four sports have ended their seasons. All the awards have been handed out. Obviously, St. Louis winning the Stanley Cup and the Raptors winning the NBA championship. I don't know if anyone's seen that Raptors parade in Toronto on Monday. It was phenomenal. It was over 2 million people, which was amazing to see. Obviously, you could tell it's been a while since Toronto hosted a championship parade. Yeah. So obviously a little bit more organization needs to be more organization needs to be done next time that they have a parade. Hopefully it will involve the Leafs next time, but we'll see about that. I know, right? See. What one can dream, right?
Of course. Maybe there'll be less shootings this time.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Yeah, a little bit. We can't have nice things.
No, you can't. And kudos to the police for doing their jobs to get there. In maintaining it so people didn't, more people didn't get involved. So good for them. But speaking of the NBA draft went last night. And surprise, surprise, hashtag not surprise, Zion Williamson went number 1 overall to the New Orleans Pelicans, followed by Ja Morant went number 2. And then number 3 is Canadian RJ Barrett went to the New York Knicks. And you guys are asking about the Pistons. Did the Pistons have a pick in the first round? They did. They had picked number 15.
We had a pick.
They picked number 15, and I'd like to get Jake's thought. First off, this guy is from France.
Who the hell is this guy?
He's 18 years old.
Yes, he is.
6'8". He's
6'9", 230 pounds.
6'9", big boy.
Yep.
Compared play style to Giannis, the Greek freak. Siku, I believe, is his first name, and
Siku Doumbouya.
Doumbouya.
Yeah.
Interesting name. Will it fit Dwayne Casey's coaching style? I hope, because obviously they like what they saw. And Jake, I must say, reading the reviews on Twitter, a lot of people like this pick. A lot of people are giving the Pistons credit, which is it doesn't happen very often. It hasn't happened in a while.
No, it hasn't, and it looks like this is one of the 2 picks, obviously, that they had in this draft.
Yes.
Right now, and the only reason I like this pick is he's a good athlete, super young, and he shoots in 2018-19 season shot 48.3% from the field. So. And 30% from a 3-point range. For a guy that hit this size, this is what you want. You want somebody who can put up shots because the Pistons, struggle from the floor. So they played good defense, and of course he'll add to the good defense that Detroit plays, but he'll actually be one of the players that will contribute in shooting because Pistons are terrible. So it's a good pick. It's a good pick. It gives them some presence. He's a shooting forward, right? So he'll give him some presence. He's a good young kid to develop. But is he too young is my question. Because if you look
Right.
at it, like you're looking at surrounding Blake here with some talent for the next 2 years or so.
Hmm.
Is this enough? No, it's not enough. But it's the only thing this team can do because they don't have any money to spend. They don't have any room to spend, and then nobody wants to play here. So really, this is the best we can get, which is not bad for this kid, but not really have anybody else to play with. Now the second round pick that we got, 6'7", 214, power forward from Nebraska. Similar style, but not a shooter. This is a defensive player, which is I have no idea why. Because this team needs a point guard, and I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Well,
Because they have nobody to carry the ball or shoot threes.
well, they actually had the 30th overall pick that they traded to Cleveland to get back in, and they took Cleveland's pick in the second round, where they took Jordan Bone, who is a point guard. So they took him 57th overall.
Yeah, 57.
So we'll see what happens. You know, the Pistons are they're obviously a few years away from being serious contenders.
Many
No,
ways.
well, let's say a couple of years right now, because especially in the East, which is very wide open, you know, it won't take much for them to be a serious contender in the East. Obviously, all the major heavy hitters are in the West. Now, we'll see, because free agency opens July 1st, I believe, in the NBA. So there's still a lot of big names out there who may go back to the Eastern Conference. Kevin Durant, uh, Kyrie Irving, who knows where he's going to go. From last I heard,
Nobody's coming to Detroit.
No.
And if
because
most of them won't stay in the East anyway. The
no,
whole
but
LeBron thing is out of control.
Well, yeah, but like I don't think you want like these older guys that are, you know, these well established guys. You want to hopefully hit on one of these lottery picks. You know, like, you know, and you know, tap into like a future superstar that's contract is still pretty decent for the first 3 years, right?
Yeah, you want to, but you know, it's Detroit and their draft history, and it's just not very good, not promising. But I'm optimistic. They only have so much time that they can do something with this team, unless they completely, trade what we asked them to do,
Right.
and trade Andre and actually put something together. But it's not going to happen. This kid's making max money and not doing anything. So until that changes, this team's not going to go anywhere.
Right. But before we forget, the the Pistons did select another guy. Actually, the Mavericks selected them, but then later traded him to the Pistons with the 37th pick overall. Uh, Devidas Siridis. He's from Lithuania.
All these European players, from the
Yeah.
European
You know what, Jake? I've
shooting forward,
always been
6'8".
hesitant of European players on the Pistons ever since Darko Milicic.
Oh, that was a pick.
Oh, talk about
Wait, who was in that draft class?
Oh,
Dwayne
Dwayne
Wade,
Wade,
Carmelo.
Carmelo, yeah, Chris Bosh,
Oh
yeah.
man, right?
Uh, talk
Yeah.
about. You
The only
imagine
sadder thing than the Lions seasons is the Pistons draft choices.
was that draft, and I think
Oh,
every Pistons fan knows that draft, or you know.
I really put my head on the microphone right here because it just reminded me of a very sad time.
Yeah. So obviously that's happened. So Pistons, hopefully, you know what, they're getting good response with this French guy. You know, I hopefully he turns out. Hopefully, you know, this guy is a rebuilding guy. You know, like a big piece of their rebuild, and plus, you know, maybe in the next year you can trade Reggie Jackson and Drummond and Blake, and you get some really good pieces for those
Start
guys.
fresh. You need to start fresh.
Exactly. So you have the pieces to trade, and
Well, next year, if they get
get
rid
some
of
first
Reggie,
round
they get
picks.
30 million
There
in
you go.
cap
So
space.
yeah,
So
so maybe they go out and get a superstar signed to a max deal. I don't know.
oh god, yeah, let me see that. Unless they're traded, they're not gonna willingly come to Detroit.
No, that's why they got to overpay them, just like what the
Yeah.
Lions have to do to get free agents.
Maybe we can get LeBron to come and
Oh
screw this
my
shit up and
god,
blow
you
it up.
imagine
Well,
that?
you know what?
Oh,
Maybe that'll be the only way this place blows up and starts fresh. He comes over, makes a mess, and then leaves, and everybody else leaves, and
yeah,
it'd be perfect.
but would you really want a LeBron at that age?
Again, if he sets this up so it blows up and they all start fresh, sure. I'm full of burning it down. I'm all for it.
There you go. So there you go. That's what
That's the
Jake is
NBA.
looking for. All right. So from the NBA draft to the NHL draft, which goes tonight and tomorrow, 7 rounds of young NHL, soon to be young NHL stars will be determined in Vancouver. That draft goes tonight.
Where's Toronto picking?
Our Leafs, actually my Leafs, do not have a pick in the first round. They traded their first round pick when they acquired Jake Muzzin this past season. So they don't have a trade. They don't have a first round pick yet. There are lots of rumors going around that the Leafs are looking to get into the first round. They have a lot of their talented players on the market: Nazem Kadri, Kasperi Kapanen, Connor Brown, uh, Nikita Zaitsev, Patrick Marleau. Pretty much all those Leafs are on the table, except obviously the main core of players are still are not available, but those guys are. So I expect the Leafs to be very busy come draft weekend. So stand by with a lot of action. There's been rumors constantly the past couple days leading up to the draft, so that will be that. The Detroit Red Wings have the 6th overall pick this year in the draft in the first round.
Still in that rebuild.
You know what? And now you got Steve Yzerman
Yep.
at the helm. I expect this rebuild to be about another 2 to 3 years before it's finally complete. But 6 overall picked, a lot of big talent, a lot of great talent out there. And
Yep.
Stevie, he's one for you know finding those hidden gems. So maybe
Yeah.
so it's going to be great to see what he does with Detroit's first year draft under his management.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about 2 more years till they're
Yeah,
competitive with
they have
these.
some nice pieces. They have a nice young core of players. Your Dylan Larkins, your Anthony Athanasius, your Tyler Bertuzzi's, all these guys. Good young core. I think they need, uh, an, a nice up and coming goalie. Maybe
Yeah,
someone
that
with
would be
a
good.
high pedigree. Just you got to get away from the Howard style of play. He just,
That seems like a familiar topic around here.
all the Wings fans that I know, they just can't stand him. Like his best years are behind him.
Hmm.
I think he's more suited as a backup in this league, but yeah, because you don't need a big name goalie to win the cup. Look at St. Louis; they had a rookie, Jordan Binnington, a guy he wasn't even a first round pick, but
Yeah.
he floated around, and just injuries got the best of the St. Louis Blues. They called him up, and then he just took over from there.
Yeah, it's a solid goaltender.
Exactly. So that's what's going on right now. Currently, the Leafs first pick won't be until number 53 right now, but like I said, that could change. So if you're a hockey fan, that's what you'll be doing this weekend. If you're a true like hockey nut, where looking at all the analytics and cap issues, yeah, this is like your Christmas.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
Uh,
I got something from the Lions. Just came up not too long ago with
oh
Matthew
yes.
Stafford.
Oh yes, please do
Did
tell
you
me.
hear that one?
Uh, Probably not.
Uh, Played with a broken back last week. Last year.
Alleged. Yeah. So all
So
that
was,
all that Stafford bashing is
yeah. I don't know.
doesn't
I don't
make you
know.
feel too good when you found out the guy was playing with a broken back.
Yeah, it's either really smart or really stupid. Because Ian Rappaport um, reported this, and then everybody else picked it up. That yeah, he played all 16 games with a broken back, basically broken bones in his back.
Mhm.
So NFL.com reported he had tiny fractures in his back the entire season. Well, which is well, not good for your putting your franchise quarterback in there with a potential for a severe injury, maybe even career-ending. So on both ends, if he knew, he's stupid. If the team knew, they're stupid. Um, yeah, I don't get it. Like you didn't do anything last season anyway. Why even leave him in there? If you knew even halfway through the season and this is what it was, why even play him? Why even play him for the last quarter of the season? You're not doing anything, but risk a potential devastating injury to him for career-ending injury, or maybe and then destroying any opportunity for the team to do anything if he's out. So I don't know. What do you think about it?
You know what? It just shows you how tough this guy is. To be honest with you, I know when he first came into the league, yeah, he was getting a lot of heat because he faced a lot of injuries early on in his career. Uh, Obviously, with the shoulder and everything else, people were comparing him to a China doll, and I think he really earned his keep as a tough Detroit style of player by toughing it out. Now, I'm not saying it was because of his broken back the way the Lions sucked this past year. I can't say that, but like if a hundred if you have a Matthew Stafford that's 100% healthy, you'll see an immediate difference. There was a couple plays where you could tell something was wrong with him. He wasn't the same Matthew Stafford. Obviously, we know now why he wasn't the same Matthew Stafford. But here's my one of my many Lions preseason prediction. Jake, here it is.
Oh god. Okay.
Matthew Stafford will be a Pro Bowl player.
Oh
This
god.
he will. Mark
You
my
know
words.
we have the opportunity to be last in our division this
I
year again,
understand that.
even with a decent team.
I understand that, but he will
Okay.
have a Pro Bowl caliber year.
Okay. Well, we will see when the season starts. I'm trying to be very optimistic. It's just this team hasn't
Jay,
done
come on! I
anything to
know you're
change
not
my mind.
optimistic. I know you're not
I have my
optimistic.
Lions hat on right now. I'm walking around the Lions T-shirt right now.
Right.
There's still not very optimistic about this teams in this season. They haven't done enough to, I don't know, to
But
change my mind on this or anybody else's. There, you have them slated in some predictions as only winning 6 games, some
hmm
4, and some even only 2 games this season. So it's going to be a rough one. I don't know.
you want some free agent lines news here? Because
Uh,
I have some for you.
do it.
So free
Do
agent
that.
defensive tackle Domata Pico is trying to work some stuff out with the Detroit Lions.
Mm.
Be good depth player coming off the bench,
Yeah,
helping
we
out
need,
that.
as long as they're not coming off the street too on our bench, then we'll be
Well,
okay.
sure, I'm sure, but he's played for Cincinnati for the past couple of years, and Denver, so he's know what it's like to play in top notch defenses, and that will also help. In case, heaven forbid, knock on wood, that Snacks Harrison gets injured.
Yeah.
A good veteran guy that can step in and help.
No, playing for
So
contract. So
so we'll
let's
see.
make
We'll
things
see.
happen. Yeah.
We'll
Well,
see what
I want to
happens.
be surprised. I want to be surprised. I want this season to work out, but
Oh,
uh,
sure. Don't we all?
yeah, we'll see. But yeah, Lions. Lions new.
Lions. One last sports thing before we move on. The Women's World Cup finish up their round robin play.
Yes.
Have Canada and the U.S. advancing to the round of 16, and headline, the Italian women are advancing to the round of 16. So
The only
good for
reason
them.
Darren watches the
Pretty
Women's World
much,
Cup.
but like you know what, you got to give those Italian women credit. They're pretty good.
Well, to tell you the truth, yesterday I watched a Canadian game.
Yeah,
Um, Not impressed at all.
yeah, yeah. They're very.
Dutch played well. Netherlands
Well,
played well.
I
But I watched the American game, and
mm-hmm.
what a cluster that was.
Oh,
But still, it was a good day for some games, even though none of them mattered.
right.
And I'm looking
Well,
forward to the round of 16.
it did matter because the whole VAR thing has
Yeah.
there's been a lot of controversy with that, and it happened in the Canada game. The
Yes.
first
With a
minute
penalty
in,
shot.
the
Yep.
first minute into it. Now,
Yep.
now, Jake, if VAR wasn't around,
Hmm.
uh, w- would that be confirmed as a penalty kick?
That would depend on the referee. Like, to me, it wasn't.
Yeah, because it
There
was
was
a
no contact on that.
little
It was
outside the
outside the
box.
box, and it was so minimal that I
Yeah,
wouldn't even call that at all a foul. I wouldn't. It was just
really.
there was no foul on that. No. That's I saw it right away. I'm like, yeah, that's a no call. I don't know why she's calling a penalty shot. So I'm glad. In that way, I'm glad there was VAR for that because
Hmm.
that was a bad call on the referee. But it wastes a lot of time.
Yeah.
It adds to the game that usually never stops. And if you
Hmm.
watch soccer as often as we do, and you watch the Premier League or anything else, the game usually never stops. And the refs kick you off the field even if you're injured. Like, roll the hell away. Game needs to keep going. The game never stops. This stops the flow of the game completely at certain points. It's a
Right.
little bit of wasted time. It should be only in specific cases, only within the box. I don't like that they're calling offsides through VAR anymore. That's stupid. You know the referee line judge has to wait
Hmm.
for VAR to confirm an offside before they can put up their flag. That's dumb. No, make the call. That's why you're there. That's your job. If you're wrong, you're wrong. It happens. VAR should stick to things like we saw penalty shots, things that can decide the game. So
Hmm.
let's just leave it in anything within the box is VAR. Outside of that, leave it.
Sorry, VAR, you're not
Yeah,
this week's
too
garbage person
much.
of the week.
You're not, but not yet. Anyway,
But there's still
lots
so,
of games
so
to go.
yeah. So Canada plays their round of 16 game against Sweden.
Yeah, that'll be a tough game.
Yes. Well, obviously Sweden lost to the Americans, but the
Yeah,
Americans are the Americans.
yeah.
But like, how do you like their chances against Sweden?
I don't. Sweden's a tough team.
Mm.
They can just like it'll be the same game they just played because Sweden and Netherlands are very similar in their approach. I know Netherlands is stronger, but Sweden's a really good team. So if they're not prepared,
Hmm.
it's gonna be a one and done.
Right. It seems like Sweden and Canada have the same formation too, so it's kind of like they match up pretty well, pretty evenly, I
Yeah,
would
and
say.
and Sweden changed up their formation for the U.S. game.
Yeah.
We're geeking out on soccer, damn it. Uh,
Jake's in heaven.
Yeah. Oh, you have no idea. But yeah, they went from a 4-3-3 to a 4-5-1 or some shit like that. They just changed it up on the Americans last minute.
Right.
That's why from the beginning it was a little bit off. But yeah, no formations for sure. That'll be key because it depends on how comfortable they are defending. Sweden's not super. Attack is pretty good, similar to Canada actually. So actually, Canada might be even a little bit better on defense, but Sweden's attack is better. So
Hmm.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It'll be a close game, but we'll see. They can't make mistakes.
Exactly. No, it's good. It's gonna be a great game. Hopefully, Canada can do better than what they did in last World Cup, where they got bounced in the first round of the Swedes of the 16. So we'll see. So that's it for sports, Jake.
Yeah, well, almost because I have a top five.
Top five.
Yeah, and it's sports related.
Oh, sports top
So
five.
yeah, I'm thinking something to include. Since talking about injuries and things, and
Mhm.
Matthew Stafford being a jabroni for playing with a broken back.
Wow, I guess Stafford will never be on our podcast now.
Oh yeah, because He's such a social butterfly.
well, maybe we will get his wife.
I don't have time to edit that. He's definitely not coming on our podcast anymore. We're gonna get banned by the Lions.
That's my quarterback, man. Don't be talking about my quarterback like that. We're gonna be on the shit
list by the Lions.
That's my quarterback.
Yeah, it's my quarterback to have the jersey. I'm down.
I do got the jersey. Actually, I don't have a jersey. I have a shirt. But
I have a jersey. See?
You have a jersey. Okay.
I'm more dedicated than you.
Anyways, go ahead with your top 5.
Top 5 sports injuries.
Is this common sports injuries or just
top 5? This is top 5 most devastating sports injuries.
Okay.
Since we're talking about a broken back and things, so let's start roll this out, because I'll give you some names of athletes that had these injuries also. So number 5, torn ACL.
Mm-hmm.
Estimated recovery time 8 to 12 months. With torn ACL, there's been some big names like Tom Brady, Tiger Woods, Adrian Peterson, Teddy Bridgewater. It's very common, but the recovery time is your season's done.
Yeah. So
that's a tough one. Number 4, severe concussion, and this relates to a lot of different sports, but we focus on Sidney Crosby, hockey player, obviously, football, very common. With athletes there, and you don't have specific recovery time because it depends on the athlete. So it could be career ending, could be something a couple weeks, couple months, depends.
Right. No, exactly. It takes, like you said, Crosby. It took him like well over a year to get back to his normal self.
Yeah.
But we're just talking about soccer. Soccer has an enormous amount of concussions in its game.
Well, yeah, there's a part of the game where you're strictly using that part of your body.
Yeah.
And when you don't do it right and you hit somebody, you go head to head with someone. That's unfortunate.
Exactly.
All right, number 3, torn. Let me get this right. Torn ulnar collateral ligament. So basically getting Tommy John surgery. That relates mostly to baseball.
Right. And there has been pitchers that had the Tommy John surgery, and they still maintain they go on and have a pretty good career afterwards.
That's right.
I'm looking at Steven Strasburg as of the Washington Nationals. He had it and is still pitching at a top level. Detroit Tigers pitcher who's going through it right now is Michael Fulmer. That's why he's not pitching this year, because he requires Tommy John surgery. So anything that will prolong their pitching career is good. And I thought, obviously, you want to have it when you're young, and so you don't have to worry about it ending your career later on.
Exactly. So, and it's a 12 to 18 month recovery time.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Very long time.
I just want to. I'll let you finish your top 5.
No,
then I want to talk about. I should have brought this up in sports, but I got to give a big shout out to a badass moment in sports. I haven't seen it in quite some time. I don't know if you've seen it. Max Scherzer, who was a pitcher for the Washington Nationals, was taking batting practice, and he was bunting.
Former Detroit Tiger,
yes. Former Detroit Tiger, and took a ball right in the eye, like smack right in the eye, and gave him a sweet black eye, like a severe black eye. So you think any other pitcher, and he was supposed to pitch that day. He would say like, no, I can't pitch because obviously I got a black eye. He says like, nope, he toughed it out. And he went out there and he dominated. He struck out 10 in a convincing win. So big shout out to Max Scherzer, just a beast.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, ball in the eye, as long as it didn't sever his socket.
Oh, can you imagine how intimidating that looked? The guy only has 2 different color eyes, and
that's true.
And you throw in a black eye there, man. That's just that's scary to look at. All right.
No,
so, anyways, go ahead.
Number two.
Number 2,
right.
black eye.
Number 2, black eye. Paper cut. All right. No, fractured vertebrae. So,
Okay.
yeah, number two is that's potential career ending. We have wrestlers that Stone Cold,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of athletes, Tony Romo, so the Cam Newton even.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's it's number two is devastating because again, talk about Stafford possibility. You know, make worse with whatever you have, and it's potentially career ending. So Detroit Lions, take care of your quarterback, dumb shits.
Protect them.
Number one, broken leg. So
Oh yeah. Well,
that's
there was plenty of
varies.
them.
Yeah, and
Scary,
it depends
gruesome
which part of your
injuries.
leg. If it's your femur or who knows, it's you break the strongest, hardest bone in your body, you're pretty screwed. It usually lasts a year
Oh
to recover, and it's never the same.
no. You look at Joe Theismann.
Yep,
Obviously, you know,
that's right.
uh, and this past year, and Alex Smith, very gruesome to watch. And
Yep.
if you're squeamish, do not look them up. It's pretty brutal.
And
But
it happens in basketball and football quite a bit.
at basketball, more likely when they go up
Yeah.
for the dunk, I think it was Paul George that was playing in for Team USA, and then just came down awkwardly, and oh my God, oof,
Yeah.
it was tough.
It is. It is. But there you go. There's your top five.
There you go. Good job. Top five.
All right. So let's have a little music break.
Mm-hmm.
And today is gonna be a fun music break because you can chill, relax. We have something special today. We have a submission from an artist from Mexico today.
Mexico.
Mexico. And he makes lo-fi and funk music. And I sent this to you before the show. I'm like, hey, Darren, check this out. It's our music for today. And it's something you just want to turn up the volume, turn down our voices, but turn up the volume for this little song we're going to play. Cool little track from an artist called Jav Cast. Jav Cast. And he submitted this a while ago, and I've been listening to this. It's a cool tune. It's called Milking It.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a nice lounge tune. He plays all the music by himself, and we'll link this track to our all of our social media. And it's just a cool track. It's it's just 3.5 minutes of him playing, and it's got an awesome, relaxed and chill beat. And there's no lyrics in it, guys. This is just a cool jam. Enjoy it. This is called Milking It by Jav Cast. I'm gonna play it right now on the ADG podcast. So that was Milking It, Jav Cast, our music feature for this week.
That's a good
And
jam. Just to chill, you go into the weekend and listen to something like that.
Exactly, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We're gonna share it on Facebook, so you can just give us some views, play it for yourselves. Good track. All right, Darren.
Yes, sir.
Did you see any movies this week?
No, unfortunately, I
listen.
I was supposed to go to see John Wick Chapter 3. Didn't quite work out, but I'm planning because I'm gonna do my best to try to get to see Toy Story 4. It comes out today, actually, this weekend. So if you're a fan, I love the Toy Story movies. Think they're great, and big shout out to Keanu Reeves. Who doesn't love Keanu Reeves? Is one of the voices of the characters in Toy Story 4. He plays a Canadian guy. Go figure. So he plays a Canadian toy. So he plays like the Canadian version of Evil Knievel. I think that's his character. Yeah. So yeah. So hopefully I'll see that and I'll give you a full review next week on the AG podcast. What about you, Jake? Have you seen any?
Nothing. I'm planning on seeing a movie called. Oh, what's that movie called? Oh man,
it must be pretty memorable.
It is. It is. It's very memorable. Thanks, Darren. There's just a couple movies I want to see. There's actually. I think we talked about it last week. I'm just gonna bring up Box Office Mojo here for some schedules, so I don't screw anything up. Hey, top of my game here. Top of my game.
Nothing but the best.
That's right. That's what we do here on the AG podcast. We are ready. We do show prep and shit.
This is why we are the most professional podcast in Windsor.
That's right. And Essex County. Let's just
round Essex County. Here. Can't forget the Essex County.
Yeah, we're reaching into Detroit here. We're coming. All right. So, there's a movie coming out called Yesterday. I think I talked about it earlier.
Yes. I
can't wait to see that.
It looks very good.
Beatles music. And, for those who don't know, it's about a guy who just all of a sudden wakes up and nobody knows, and the Beatles never existed.
Exactly.
He's a huge fan, so he plays your music and becomes famous. So I want to see how this develops, and I'm down for the music because I know some people don't think the Beatles are great or anything, but I think it's what the Beatles did brings out a lot of character in our music that we have today.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's one of the movies I definitely want to see. It's gonna be enjoyable for me. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so much good music in it. Really, there is nothing else besides Child's Play coming out this weekend too, and who gives a shit about that? It's a shit movie.
Hey, man, when the original Child's
Play I'm down for the original. Came out,
that was some scary shit.
Yeah, no, I love the original. It's still great.
Yeah,
I'm down for that.
It might be as good as the original.
I saw the preview. It made me laugh.
Well, yeah. If you watch the original Child's Play now, it would make you laugh now. But back then, it was scary because obviously, you don't expect your toys to come alive and start killing you.
Yeah, and even back then, just the animation they had, it was great.
Oh yeah,
they're over. The CGI on this shit is gonna be way over the top. So, but anyway. Exactly. A movie I really need to see is Spider-Man: Far From Home because it continues on the storyline in the MCU, and
exactly
just looks good. Looks great.
It looks really comes. I believe that comes out in July.
Yeah, that comes out on the 2nd, on the 3rd actually.
Oh, July 3rd. Okay, so there you go. Yeah. So Wednesday. Yeah, who doesn't love a good Spider-Man movie?
Yeah, I know, right? It's gonna be great. Oh. Can't wait for that. But yeah, no, we'll have more. On the summer blockbusters on our season finale next week, and which we're still working on and making an awesome show for the season finale to give you guys a break for the summer, and then we will be back for the Lions season because that's where we want to talk a lot of shit. So we'll be back.
Shit and positive vibes.
Yeah, shit and positive vibes. So yeah, we'll build it up and tear you down.
We'll try to have some experts on the show to talk about the Lions besides us because we like to think of ourselves.
Nobody cares about our opinions by now.
No, but
Oh,
maybe we'll have Sean Belegian on. I know he's a
oh
diehard
yeah, yeah,
Lions
no,
fan, and for
sure.
some reason he kind of likes us. So
I don't
we'll
know
see what
why.
happens. I don't know why either.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird.
So
But
that.
anyway, I'm looking at a headline right now,
Oh.
and it says um, we expect to have a really hot summer on the coastlines and
Finally.
very mild in where we are, my mild summer. Well, I want a hot summer because it's only gonna last like a month.
I know.
If you
And,
do it
and,
right, the
and,
way it's going right now, we're gonna have
yeah.
like from like half of July to half of August, we're just gonna burn the shit out of us, and then just go back to being fall,
Just completely skip summer. Uh, uh,
basically.
and today, or when we're recording this podcast, it is officially the first day of summer.
And it's amazing outside.
It's beautiful outside.
Yeah, why are we
I just,
recording this outside somewhere?
I know. I just wish that it would have been, June would have been a little bit more summery instead of all of these fucking rain that we have had.
Oh yeah, no, it's rain's killing me.
It's been crazy. Just constantly, it seemed like more than half of the month of June has been rain. I'm
Yeah, it's
like
shit.
we've had enough
I
of
love
rain.
my grass, but this is overdoing it.
Yeah,
I gotta have to water it, but come on now, I can't even mow
I
it.
was just saying my lawnmower is taking a beating for all the time that I got to keep on cutting my grass because it's
You
just
know,
so long.
you know, it's just dumb.
Hmm.
But I want to get your opinion on something else too,
Okay.
because Tampa Bay Rays um, are exploring a possibility of splitting games with Montreal.
It's
Because
so
as we
dumb.
all know, Montreal
So
used to
dumb.
have a team, the Expos, which was awesome.
It's so
Greatest
dumb.
logo of all time, by the way, besides the Detroit D. Uh, the Expos had the second best logo of all time in
Mhm.
baseball. They're looking, to explore to put half their season up in Montreal. What do you think about that?
I think that's dumb. Like, how embarrassing is it for that fan base where it says like, you guys aren't coming out to any of these games, so you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna split half, uh 162 games, so 80 games, so 40 games in Tampa, 40 games in Montreal. What does that mean to the players? You think the players with wives and kids, it's like, okay, see you later, honey, going up to Montreal to
Yeah, it's not like
play
it's close or anything.
to play in Montreal for 3 months by myself. You know what the kind of stuff happens in Montreal? Wild stuff happens in Montreal. They're
Hey,
crazy up there.
move the team, move the whole team from
Move the
Tampa to
fucking
Montreal.
team. If you can't, what's the point? And what happens? Let's say if Tampa actually does get good and make it to the playoffs. What? Half their playoff games, half their home playoff games, going to be in
Can you
Tampa, and
imagine?
then half's going to be in Montreal. What the fuck is that?
Can you imagine?
Oh my god! It's like
Oh,
it's like they don't want to like lose another American franchise, but they still want to expand. So we'll just split this your home dates between two cities. It
that's
doesn't make sense.
no,
You
it's
know,
the
like
dumbest idea.
it's great that Montreal's being considered for this, but like is Montreal not have a fan base that can take his own franchise? They get to
I think
split
it
one.
does. I think it. I would. I think it
Yeah.
just if you're not satisfied in Tampa,
Mhm.
if you're really exploiting something stupid like this, just move the damn team.
Well, yeah, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense. It looks from my perspective, it looks like they're putting a band-aid over this problem. You
Right.
know, instead of having a real solution, because or they just wanted some exposure for this
That's all it
crazy.
is. Yeah, and the
You
league's
know,
playing with it, so I don't know if they're stupid too. I don't know.
exactly. It doesn't make sense to split home games with two different cities.
No,
Just the
no,
travel and the cost. I think it would cost you more
it
to
would.
to to do all that.
Well,
Uh,
you'd get the crowds in Montreal because they know they have a little bit of something
they
new coming in for part of the season, but still.
yeah, they do. They do have the crowds because when the Blue Jays play their exhibition games, their preseason game in Montreal, it's always a sellout crowd. Obviously, so like the passion for baseball in Montreal is still alive and well. But
Yeah.
like to split with another team, I don't know.
Bad
Unless this is like a trial run, and if they do well, then they might get their own team.
Well, that was close second in my garbage person of the week.
Oh, you thought
Running.
for sure that'd be your number one.
Yeah, well, I have something special,
Okay.
and it has to do with the Lions.
Of course it does. It seems
Well,
to be
not actually
seems to be the
not actually the
show.
team. You're right, I know, right?
Yeah.
But not again. Still my favorite team. So calm the hell down out there. But it has to do with one of their players. And you and I were like last week. Okay, Michael Roberts got traded. We get a 7th round pick,
Right.
and that didn't work out, obviously, for those paying attention. So my garbage person of the week is Michael Roberts, and here's why. Because homeboy over here got traded to the Patriots and then failed his fucking physical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you're not ready to play football by now, there's something wrong with you. You should tell somebody. No. So the Lions, after he fails his physical, Lions waive him. He gets picked up by the Packers. And what the hell happens over there? He fails his physical there too. Okay, so are you trying to play football, or is there really something wrong with you? Or are you just not in football shape? And you're a decent tight end, don't get me wrong. And Detroit didn't need him. He was worth enough to get a pick out of in a trade. And you're not ready to play football, you have to fail your physical. And now what were you doing under the Lions where you didn't tell them maybe there was something wrong? Homie, your career, buddy. You want to try a little bit harder to do something here. But no, fails a physical twice, so it must be something wrong, or he's just not trying. But to put yourself out there and to basically ruin your football career this quick makes you garbage person of the week.
There you go. It's just something with the guy that was drafted in a pretty decent round.
Yes,
and he has a lot of upside, big hands, as everyone says when the Lions first drafted him, and he was a pretty popular red zone threat.
Yes,
for Lions, so he does have a lot of upside. But yeah, for him to fail not one but 2 physicals, yeah. That's deemed worthy of the Hall of Shame right there.
Exactly.
Yes.
So there you go. That's that. That's
right.
Garbage person of the week.
There you go.
ADG Podcast, guys, check us out. Enjoy everything we've done so far this season. One more episode left. Hit us up on Facebook, ADG Podcast, Twitter. That's all growing. Instagram, ADG Podcast. YouTube channel, it has been picking up, which is a good thing.
Yep.
Check out our music artists. The last couple weeks have been insane, so check everybody out. So
yes.
you have 19 episodes to catch up on before we do our season finale.
Exactly. Just do a full Netflix binge, but an ADG binge.
That's right. You don't want to hear us babble? Shit, fast forward to the music and the interviews.
There you go.
There you go. Problem solved.
Exactly. If you're a fan of the song, then just do it. You know what we should do, Jake? We should put like a Spotify list of all our music artists up, and
we should,
and just have a playlist of just all our music artists. So if you listen to our podcast just for the music, great. Keep listening, and we'll try to give you more of great new music.
Exactly. We should do that.
Yeah,
we should do that. We'll do that in after our season ends. We'll put it all together so we keep you guys occupied until the next season starts.
There you go. We'll put out season 1's greatest
2-month break. That's right. And that'll be a lot. We have some surprises for season 2 coming up. We're gonna change some things up. It's gonna be more exciting. Working on some interviews, but that's all coming up. We'll talk about that next episode. So we're working on stuff.
Good stuff.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. All right, Darren. So that was episode 19.
Yes.
Yeah. So for the ADG Podcast, I'm Jacob.
And I'm Darren.
And we are ADG.